2020 has been a year of unique challenges and opportunities. An unseen, microscopic enemy threatened lives, closed businesses, schools, playgrounds, and emptied the streets of busy cities as people sheltered in place in their homes. Millions were suddenly unemployed. Almost half of the population reported a significant loss of income. Many families on the financial edge, living from paycheck to paycheck, began to wonder how they would be able to pay for rent and feed their families. Very quickly, people began to go hungry. The nation's elderly, living in long-term care facilities, were the hardest hit. Because of age and underlying health conditions, they were found to be the most vulnerable to COVID-19. With huge spikes in death rates, long-term care homes were placed into quarantine, and our elders went into isolation from their loved ones during a time of nationwide fear and uncertainty. These challenges to life as normal have led to unprecedented opportunity for Christians to share the love of God in their communities. The Seventh-day Adventist Church in Canada was quick to respond to the COVID-19 crisis. Partnering with ADRA Canada, the Adventist Community Services North American Division, Canadian conferences, and the gifts of our faithful donors, support was offered and given to food banks and other organizations who were helping people in need from coast to coast to coast. Even though people were receiving emergency funds from the Canadian government, the support that they were getting often was just not enough to cover all of the expenses and provide food. Others, for various reasons, were not eligible for any support at all and were left with no means to feed their children. Food banks, often run out of the lobbies and parking lots of Adventist churches, saved lives. Personal care kits provided much-needed, hard-to-find items for personal health and hygiene. Over 500 volunteers came together across the nation to help purchase, sort, sanitize, package, and distribute vital food and supplies. The Seventh-day Adventist Church in Barrie, Ontario, was one of 33 churches across Canada that used the emergency support funds to reach out to families in need, the homeless, and the elderly in their community.
When we heard that there was an opportunity to partner with ADRA, by God's grace, we had some great ideas that were given, but the three main ones were, one was the tablet initiative, the second was just to enhance the eye care program that we've been doing, and the third was to make this food hampers and assist families that are affected by COVID, either a job loss or just not being able to buy some of the things that they needed.
People in the church might bring food and meals to a place called Youth Haven downtown. Yeah, and then that just acts of kindness like that started growing into the homeless community as well. And that's when the youth ministry started taking more of an active role in outreach to the homeless community, coming up with the name of I Care. And from that point, things just continued to build up momentum.
One unique idea that was implemented was to support a hospice home with tablets that would allow patients the ability to have video calls with their loved ones during the COVID isolation that they were in at this difficult time in life.
It was just such an important need. People are unable to receive visitors at a time when you would definitely need a visit, just to have that love and that support around you. So just hearing the stories from the staff at these healthcare facilities and realizing what patients are going through, that's what just really tugged at our hearts.
I mean, we have visitors at windows, right, which, especially in the cold, it was hard, and it's not always easy, and especially if we have elderly coming, they have to walk over the stones, or, it's hard. So they came up with this idea about the iPads and how that would really facilitate that connection for residents and family with those who couldn't come and see them. One of our family members, his loved one was living in the States, so she was able to Skype daily. The iPad would be in my office and she would just Skype me and say, is he available, is he awake, and we did that daily. She was so grateful that we had the technology. Another resident, her granddaughter was living in Northern Ontario, and she wasn't able to see her, and she had been using her cell phone, but it wasn't a good reception, and it was very small. So then when I told her she could use one of the tablets, she was so excited, so we did that, and that was, again, it just made it much easier and more convenient. One of our residents, his young family was at home, children, and again, to be able to use an iPad to see them close up, right, and it's amazing, right? It lifts people's spirits.
The challenges of these uncertain times have been difficult for many people across Canada. It has also provided many opportunities for us to exercise our faith, love, and generosity to people who need our assistance. Thank you so much for your kind support of the ministry of ADRA.